Hi, welcome back to the channel. Beautiful sunny day, if not a bit windy, a bit blowy up here, southeast Queensland. About 20 k's west of the Gold Coast at the moment. Heading west, heading on Beachfront Road. Very windy day. Yeah, got a guy going up there in his four-wheel drive. Walla badada, walla badada, walla badada. Keeping away from that centre line. Don't want to be anywhere near the centre line going through a blind corner. Anyway, the purpose of today's video, I've got a few other videos, but I'm backlogged and I'm trying to sort of hone it down. So I may double up, it depends what videos I put up, what I've already covered, but yeah, it's talking about as a lighter weight alternative to the Transalt to cover all bases. Now, the conventional wisdom is it's a no unicorn bike, but we'll do these sort of roads to connect you on to when you're heading to your dirt trails. In Australia in general, and especially in southeast Queensland, well, I think it's all over Australia, you have to have a registered motorcycle to basically go on any dirt track or road unless it's on private property and you have the owner's permission. So where if you have a motocross bike or an unregistered trail bike, I guess the only real options are motorbike parks, and there's one not about 50-60 k's from here, Queensland Motor Park, and you can trailer your bike up and take it off the trailer and ride on a motocross, and they've got trails as well, and there's a couple of other parks scattered around as well. A lot of them are closed down, but that is possible, but you're limited to one or two locations, so it is better to have a registered motorcycle. So if that's your second bike, you don't want to have two registered bikes. Say you had this bike and you still wanted to have fun, keep your hand in. I think logically that if you've got a car as well, that trailer an option. You can put them rack and roll trailer hitch bar fins where you don't need a separate trailer. You just put a rack on your back of your vehicle, on a suitable vehicle, and you put your lighter. It's got to be a lighter weight bike. You're not going to be able to load up a 200 kilo. I think probably 150 kilos is about the maximum, maybe 160 you can get systems. But if you're just buying a 4 or 5 grand used KLX or CR or an RMYZ, that's a great option, And why I say that, unless your life is revolving around off-road enduro tracks and you're lucky enough to live near them, you know, we're in 30 k's a zone, 40, 50 k's, so how often are you really going, if you're working, how often are you really going to get out on the them trails that may be up to 150 k's away, It's how often, you know, it's like, is it going to be once a month, once a week, once every 3 months, once every 6 months? Is it going to be that, you know, only when you, so it's not as silly as it first sounds, or not as boring as it sounds, getting it at first glance, first hearing, having just a second-hand, cheaper trail bike or motocross bike, a fun bike, and you can learn your off-road skills on a motocross track. Just take your bike on the back of it if you've got a trailer, or these rack and roll systems, where you just put your bike horizontally that way on the rear of your vehicle. I've got a rack that goes that way, and you just push your bike into the grooves, and there you go. It's yeah, I started thinking about it. I reckon you could get a decent motocross or an older trail bike 4 or 5, something you're not really going to worry too much about. Might even do any mate. You might just do oil changes and say, well, it cost me three grand. I'm sure you can get one for free, eh? $3,000. It doesn't have to roadworthy. These are off-road unregisterable bikes, so. And if you're willing to get up on it, these places are open 4 days a week, 3 or 4 days a week. They close when it's wet for safety reasons. But yeah, for the amount of times that we might, unless we're aspiring motocross races or enduro races, or we just really like being out in the bush all the time, having an unregistered bike and trailer it to a motocross enduro park facility. So these are like spread over like 80 to 100 acres, or even more. Some of them are bigger than that. And you can go for the whole weekend, take your tent, camp. It sounds like, it sounds not too bad, eh? I mean, they'd be great for parents with their kids. If you have 2 bikes, one for your children or whatever. That's what I've been out there a few times, just watching with a cup of coffee with my bike, the Transalp sitting there. And yeah, people of all ages and all bikes. You can take a registered bike on some of the tracks, but if you want to go on a motocross, say you've got a CR 450, you have to, or a KLX 450, that type of reasonably lightweight bike. You've got to take your mirrors off, I think. There's a couple other things you got to do, and I think you're allowed on the track, eh? So your registered bikes are allowed as well. It's just the traction is for the unregistered bikes and the motocross bikes, because it's a proper motocross track. So there's the option: spend $3,000, $4,000, say, get a half decent 5-year-old or maybe 10-year-old motocross bike. I'm sure you can even get a 15-year-old WR450, or we go for a 250. And personally, I wouldn't mind getting a YZ, eh? Even just a YZ 105 of a motocross track. Yeah, get one of them rack and roll fins, put it on a tow bar, and just go there. And then, then if you go, shit, I like this, and all you end up doing is taking your car and your off-road bike to a motocross track. Well, there you go. And the Transalp's sitting in the garage and only gets ridden once every fortnight. And you go, well, shit, there you go.